So what was your question, sorry?
Just what can you tell me about my son?
What would you like to know specifically?
What his problem is.
I have a 15-year-old and I'm asking that as well.
He's 21.
Okay, in all seriousness, when you ask that question, okay, I also do profiling, and when I look at people I see numbers, I see equations. And when you're standing there, what I'm seeing above you, okay, is a high extrovert junction, which what that means to me is that you have a son who is very desperately trying to do extrovert, all right, when his nature is not that. So the problem is that you have a super sensitive, highly creative child in a man's shell trying to go out and be bombastic. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And what you need to do is, instead of going, look, grow up, get real, which is how I feel you're almost trying to be very abrupt with him, in the sense of, look, clean it up, get settled, think of what you're doing. Not in a suppressive way, more in a get realistic. Like, you can do anything you want, but you have to get real about it. Can I just say to you that if you're quiet with him, you'll get further. Okay? I don't feel you're going to have trouble with him long term. And when I say I don't feel you'll have trouble with him long term, I'm not seeing a kid who's, and I still see him as a kid, I don't care what his age is, it's because to me he's immature, he's emotionally quite immature. But I don't see him either in the next few years being a problem. And when I say problem, someone who's going to dabble in things that they should not be long-term dabbling in, or mixing with the people who are around that. So I actually feel safe for him long-term. I feel like really it's the last 9 months that he's been particularly painful, but he'll move out of that comfortably. All right? Sorry, I just have to say to you, because your grandfather's really strong about letting you know.
You haven't... guy with a mow?
Sorry?
Is he a little guy with a mow?
Yeah, a little bit on the pudgy side.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah. So, I don't need to be rude. I said that, he went, excuse me. None of the way, man. Okay, he is very seriously saying to let you know you've not done anything wrong here. Because that's what you're really questioning in your heart. Okay. Can I come to you, please? You can stand or sit or whatever you want to ask.
Stand for everyone else. I've actually just lost my house, and all the houses around it sold, bar mine, and mine was on the market longest and had the best attributes. So my question is, what lesson was I supposed to learn out of that, if any?
It's funny, okay, as soon as you ask that, straight away I get, first of all, timing is significant here, all right, because I actually feel like you had the opportunity 2 years prior to this to actually consider that step. Do you understand?
Yes.
And you kind of just sat there and went, no, and they're showing me a checkbook and it's increasing in zeros, just in the sense that they're saying, well, my guide is saying to me that what you're doing was you had the option to sell prior, but you thought, well, if I just hang out, I'll just hang out and I'll see what can happen. Part of it was that emotionally you didn't want to make the choice, but there was also a solid financial decision behind that as well. And she's saying that sometimes what it's about is paying attention to timing and not an outcome. Do you understand? Because that's what bit you in the bum, was the timing. And I might say to you as well, this is systematic with you. The reason I say it is you've got the same equation above your head as well, in the sense of where it's about timing in every aspect. You have a tendency to sit back and lag, don't you? Instead of just getting up and doing things as they need to be done. So she's saying the timing is how many times you need something taken from you. Do you understand? Before you action what you need to be doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, can we come to the lady at the end? Yeah.
I'm asking, what is there anything I can do for my brother to find peace with me and our mama?
Okay, your grandmother on your mother's side is actually standing behind you, but there is also a Margaret who's standing with her. Now, this lady is very, very clear about being your guide, this Margaret. She's not family or friends. She's actually coming across with a very, very strong German accent as well. Now, what she's saying to let you know is there's nothing you can actually do here, because what you're trying to do is make a whole lot of, incompatible areas compatible. And the reality is, if it wasn't all connected by family, there wouldn't even be that combination. Okay? Now, I know when I'm speaking to you that you understand when I say to you, sometimes your family isn't your soul family, so you just need to treat them like people. All right? Can I leave you? I'll let you guys have your private joke. Actually, come to lady right up the back.
I applied for a job today, and I'm just wondering if I'm going to get it.
Next. Sorry.
That would be a no.
No. But what I do feel though... I did say don't ask, didn't I? What I want to say to you seriously though, is that you're underestimating your capacity. And you know this, alright? It's about building your confidence. And I have to say to you that my guide is saying to me, how many times does she need to be told to build her confidence, build her confidence, build her confidence? Okay? Because the thing is that, do I feel that this one will come into fruition? No. Do I feel one of a similar nature is coming in the next literally 3 weeks? Yes. I feel you've made a connection that will actually open up a door for you through this. My concern is that you're actually going to take the position that's offered you and it's way beneath where you could be. Right? So I know I'm kind of throwing a curly into this, but I'm going to say to you, think about what your value is, okay, and then start to follow it, because you don't. Alright, so you're going to have a connection, it will make you an offering. I know no matter what I say, you're going to take it because you're worried about the financials, but I'd really like you to hold off. And I know you're not going to do that anyway, but you'll be in that for 7 months and then you'll go, shit, she's right. And then you'll leave. And you'll move into where you need to go. But the thing is that it's actually about value, and I really feel like the last 7 years, hey, you've really worked hard on that. And they're really specific about 7 years here. You've worked hard, you've worked long. Now is the time to take the next step of actually stepping into your value. All right, so you'll do it for a while, and then you'll roll over into another one anyway. I'd like to have just seen you kind of leapfrog into that because you're going to go there anyway, but you'll take that bit longer road. You? No. Until things are hard way, no. You're welcome. Sorry, can I just come across to, yep, lady right in front. Yes, on phone me.
No.
Yes. Is there something that you wanted to ask?
Badly, Katie.
Oh, yes, there was. Just about a move.
Are you actually completing this in the sense that you've made all the decisions around it? Okay, tell you what I'm concerned about. First of all, I'm not actually concerned about the move itself. What I'm concerned about though is I feel like you're overlooking the dollar value of what this is going to cost you. Do you understand? Like I feel like you need to be making sure that you go back over some information here and making just sure that you have everything lined up, because somehow I feel as though it's going to cost you a little bit more than what you're expecting. Now the thing is, when I say a little bit more, I'm not talking, you know, 1, 2, 3,000, anything like that, but I'm talking about enough that you have plans on what you want to be doing. So I just feel like I want to make sure very specifically I have $500 to $600 extra sitting there, because I feel like you're going to end up needing it for something. Okay? But I feel happy in the sense of really within myself content about this decision, because I feel like you've had to let go of stuff to do it. Like I'm separating from my past. You know what I mean? Like I'm just going in order to be able to go over there and do it. I also feel that there's a legal matter. Like in the sense of legal papers you have to sign off, whether it's like a settlement, not to do with the property, but it's different. I feel like I'm just tidying up other areas as well. And I want to say to you that when you're presented with these, because I kind of feel like you're sitting there going, it could happen, but it may not. And I feel like you'll get presented with something and it's all going to go your way, it's all going to work really well, and don't worry about it is what I'm getting. Do you understand? But just make sure you've got that little bit extra. I just somehow feel you're going to need it, and then that will build for you longer term. Much better.
In the last week I've had 5 people going to America. Like, is that part of it?
Honestly, I'm not feeling that. I'm just feeling like the actual move will cost you more, and I want to make sure I've got money sitting there, so I'm not concerned about it, because you've already made such a big leap in what you're doing. And that's not the case with everyone, but you've just made a massive change, okay, and you're cutting away parts of what you've done. So I almost feel like the old traditional pillars of support, that, you know how something can seem like it's support, but it's actually more holding you back, but that's the way you see it, as support. I feel like you've made the decision to go, I used to see it as support, it's not really support now, I'll let it go. But it also means that you have to make sure that you're really focusing on where you're going to pick up what you need to, yeah? And that's what worries me here. Just make sure you've got that additional so that you don't have a default of, oh, hang on, I need to go and check that way just in case. Okay, and fabulous healer. I really want to see you do more with the healing. My hands are really hot. Really, really hot. Okay?
I didn't bring any business cards.
And she's good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Can I just come to the lady directly behind you as well? That's you. What were you going to ask me? You are?
What do I need to know where I am now?
I actually want for you to start thinking about your future. And the reason that I say this is, and I'm not at all meaning to sound rude here, but I feel like you keep picking up ideas of what you want to be and how you want to do things, okay? And then you let them go. And then you pick up more and then you let them go. And I'm not feeling that you really take them and run with them to the full extent that you could be doing. Now, the reason that this is important is because I feel like there's a little bit of monetary loss that goes into this as well when you're not careful. Because you know you can pick something up, invest in it, and then it not come to fruition. So what my guide is saying to me is that you need to get a little bit more frugal in order for you to go further. Okay, so finance, when you ask me the question, finance for me is the key around you. I feel like I want you to really look at it, to stop letting it go into arenas that you won't be following up through, and then actually start to look at how you can consolidate. All right, so I understand that I feel like you're wanting more of a spiritual awareness or kind of answer, but they're saying to me that the problem is that you're living in a human world and the decisions that you make will actually hold up the spiritual freedom you can have when you're not so stressed here. Because I feel you have high anxiety, hey? Like it sits in really, really tightly in your chest. So I just feel like I want to make sure that I manage the things that create that so that spiritually I can move above it as well, all right? You're really highly creative, and the more earthly, if we term it that way, you have, it really locks that down. So I want to see you get some strategies in place to let that go so the rest of it can just grow really comfortably, all right? You also have a man in spirit called Robert, okay? And he's just saying to let you know, sometimes we have to hand you out some tough love. Not me, like he's saying, sometimes. Do you understand? All right, I'll leave you with him. Come to the lady here, please. Yep.
Over the last 2 weeks, I've had a couple of scrapes in my car where I've brushed up with something and got paint on that article on my car, my left side, which has come off when I've cut and polished it. I looked into this and what was going on, and I felt that like I wasn't giving myself enough space. Was that the correct reading from spirit that I was getting, that I need to just give myself some more space?
I actually feel it's about awareness. You know, we could throw the word spatial awareness into it. No, I feel it's about awareness, and what I honestly feel is that you are so distracted that you're not focusing on where you need to be going. And all it is it's literally that physical manifestation of it, that you're just not focusing physically as well as emotionally and mentally on where you need to be going, okay? Now, it's interesting because as you're sitting there, you're surrounded by nurses, all right, in spirit. And they're like the old Florence Nightingale style. And they're saying to let you know that sometimes you can try to outrun parts of who you are, but essentially they're still there. So instead of trying to outrun them, why not just make them work for you? Do you understand? Like actually make it work for you. You know, you're trying to outrun a lot of things, but you work well. So just amp it up a bit. You know what I mean? Because I just feel like you're capping yourself, really, really capping yourself. And so they're saying that they've kind of tried to bump and nudge and move you around a bit to go, you know what it is for me, and I can say this because I'm a walk, it's the walk slap in the back of the head. You know? It's that, can you pay attention to what's going on around you? You're also just becoming quite vigilant on a serious side about how people are taking you off task as well, hey?
Yes.
So be on top of that. It's just about awareness and vigilance, but not just spiritually. It's also about it physically and emotionally. All right? You're welcome. Can I come to the gentleman right at the back, please. Go for it.
Just like to know what's next for me.
Loud voice.
What's next and in what arena? I just asked that because let's get specific.
My path spiritually.
When you say that, okay, straight away you have the biggest, blackest Nubian guide behind you, who as a girl I'm going, not that bad, really. And what he's saying though is that he literally just kind of walked straight in. And he's saying to tell you, sometimes to get your spiritual growth, you have to actually become very grounded within your physical life. Not grounded as in grinded into the ground, but rather more specific about how do you create the time, the space and the energy to actually develop. All right, so gathering such as this is a great way, but it's also about you starting to seek mentors for you to continue. And the reason I say it is because you have a beautifully academic brain, but you also have a very intuitive brain. And I'd like to see the two of them come together and work very comfortably, but one outweighs the other at times. So I feel like I should go this way. No, you shouldn't. Blah, 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 blah. So what I want to see is that you get a good mentor, because he's very specific here. Okay, he's saying a very good mentor and someone who will be very open and very much challenge you to step into yourself as part of this. Otherwise, you'll just sort of dabble. You won't really harness. And I'm going to say to you, you won't really harness the psychic in you because you have it really comfortably there. You're not working it. All right? He's really nice. If I come to the lady behind you. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm still looking behind him. Sorry, the lady on the end here.
Just wondering.
Hey, if you could see what I could see, you wouldn't be laughing.
Lately, when I've been meditating, the main or constant thing that I'm seeing is animals, just all these different animals. And I'm just wondering what the message is.
All right. As you're saying that, what my guide is saying to me is that it's not so much that the animals themselves actually physically represent something, as in some of the indigenous cultures. They're saying what it really is it's about your association with those animals. Does that make sense to you? Like what that animal actually naturally, indicatively feels with you. And you'll find that each of the animals have a word or an association. And that's actually going to be building almost like a tarot card deck for you via animals. So when you start asking for information, you'll get the variable animals come in. And what will happen with those is that you'll associate certain incidences, words and places with them, and they will actually be giving you the information intuitively. And it's not an accident either, because you love animals. They're saying to me that you're just a natural born lover of animals. And so one of the affinities that you have is with animal and earth. And so even the earth signs come into you as well. You know, you can feel the earth pulse. You know what I mean? Like you can actually feel it pulse, you can feel the trees, you can feel it all. So it's actually about you getting into your natural rhythm and finding those informations. I mean, for example, for me, I don't get anything with animals. You know, it's not a natural movement. I love animals, have heaps, but it's not a natural movement for me. But you actually tune into them. You look at an animal, for example, and you'll know what they're feeling and thinking. And some people can do that and do that brilliantly, and you're someone who can. You know, you're very good at animal healing, you're very good at animal readings, but more importantly, the animals represent, okay, information for you, but it's indicative of what they mean to you. Do you understand? So it's about you actually learning what they mean. I would really strongly suggest you to put pen to paper, and for every animal, write the word or situation, and you'll find you get a profile that comes into your brain for everything that goes on. It's a system they're giving you. It's just a very, very old system. All right? Come to lady at the front, please. Yep.
I'm inheriting some money from a deceased half-sister that I never knew existed, and I've just found out that there's another deceased half-sister from another marriage that I didn't know about. And I've got two questions. One, do I have any other brothers and sisters around that I don't know? And two, if there's any indication of timing on the property settlement.
So I could just think of jokes, but I'm not going to go there.
It's alright, I've got a sense of humour around it.
When you were doing the ceremony, okay, I kept looking at the back of you because I actually kept feeling that there was a lady next to you that was in spirit, and you are uncannily alike. And the thing was that it wasn't that you were physically alike. You'll know what I mean when I say you're more energetically alike. And what she kept saying, and whether this was your sister or not, to me doesn't matter. What she was saying is that there are still more of us out there, but I feel men. Because she was very clear about there's still more of us out there, but there are 2 boys that are actually out there. Okay? As far as settlement goes, she's going, first of all, it's the only one you're going to get. That's from her. She's going, she's got a sense of humour, it's the only one she's going to get. And I still feel that you've got almost 5 months before this will come through. I feel like it's going to be constantly tied up with some paperwork, and then there'll be a slight dispute about the rights of you having it. But it's going to be coming to you. Right, but I'm feeling distinctly 5 months before that happens.
Okay, thank you.
All right. You're looking at a new car?
Yeah.
Because I said to her, I'm right to go now, and then she goes, fine. And she actually gets into a new car, and in my mind she's driving off, and she's going, she wants the new car. And she just drove off.
Is it a soft top?
So... it was a Saab. And it was a soft top, but it was a Saab. It's very distinct. So, can I leave you? 5 months though.
You spoke about Earth before. I'd like to ask a question about the bigger picture of our Earth and our universe. Lately there's been a dramatic increase in earthquakes, in tidal waves, in solar activity, geomagnetic storms, talk of planet X's and collisions with comets and so forth. What do you see that we should know about the future of our Earth and the cosmos?
It's interesting, I actually got asked this the other day as well, because a friend of mine said she felt like a rumbling and then something happened in China. And the truth is I hardly ever watch the news. I couldn't be bothered. What I do feel though is that where we need to be careful is more so around the water aspect of Earth. And when I say that, you know, yes, I understand that we'll have earthquakes and those sorts of things, but what I'm actually feeling more so is it's the water that is now our vulnerable position. And not the depletion of water, but rather things like those tsunami-based arenas. I'm not at all surprised when Japan gets hit again next year with another one. It's on the cards, it's going to happen. I actually feel that, and look, I'm not a geologist, but what I keep feeling is that it's almost as though the water and the sky, it's as though they collide, in the sense that I feel as the plates are moved under, it actually completely throws out of alignment all the electrical and energetics that then happen upstairs, is the way I look at it. So I keep feeling it's almost as though one area gets thrown out and then it pulls out that other area. Now, is Earth going, or is this entire system going to fall apart? No, I don't feel that it will. Do we need to be vigilant? Obviously from an environmental, which is not my side of it, we need to be. But more than anything, I feel that what we need to be looking at when we're looking at what we're doing within the Earth, or I guess really how to look after it, is literally the individual responsibility. And what I keep getting from my guides time and time again, and it's interesting because my son, I have a 13-year-old who's been doing something on this at school, and he keeps saying to me, you know, what do you feel, Mum? And I said, I keep feeling like we're losing individual responsibility. Now we're globalising everything. It's all about, you know, let's all work together. And that's okay if you have a really strong leader, but what happens when you don't have a strong leader? No one does it. Now, so I keep feeling that if you as an individual are very aware, then you can energetically assist all of that in rebalancing as well. But I keep feeling that we have to be very, very vigilant about what is under the Earth that pushes and pulls at the water, more so than I'm actually worried about anything else, like storm-wise. I feel we've got to be particularly careful when the American economy completely collapses into next year. That's when we're going to have some problems sorting through a lot of the other stuff. lady here, and then the other lady's going, every hand is pointing to you.
I'm just sort of question. I've got a business and I just want to know how that's going to get better for me and any ways to make it better.
Okay, above you, when I turned this way before, when I was looking at people for reading, what I kept seeing above you was ATO and a business plan. Okay, now it's not to say you're in trouble with ATO. What I'm saying is that, yeah, it's about structure. So what I feel has happened is that you've taken a concept, you've run with a concept, and to date, yeah, it's worked. It could work better, but it's worked. But what I feel that you need to be doing is you absolutely have to be putting a business plan to this and a strategy. You actually have nothing measurable in it. Okay? You know what you want to be achieving, but you're not putting it down on paper to make it happen. And I'm not talking about the whole secret manifest crap. I'm talking solid business here. Okay? If you don't put down your measurables, you're not going to know when you're there. And you're not kind of sending like the universal compass to it, a sense of how are we going to achieve that, how are we going to make that move. All right? Now the other thing I want to say to you is, I feel like you need to be looking at how you remarket and rebrand this business, okay? And what I don't want to see you do though is I don't want to see you put $10,000 into marketing when you don't need it, and that's what you're going to be quoted, right? So I just feel what it's actually about is, because they're really specific here about tear up a check for $10,000, they're really specific about do not put lots and lots in, be smart about what you want, get clear about what you want, understand what you want from this, and then put that out into the marketplace. Because that's what you're not doing. All right, so you've got a great idea and it's worked, but you haven't put the business brain behind it. And once you link the two of them, it will be quite good. You also have to get a little bit tougher with the people around you. All right? Because no offense, I wouldn't take you seriously either. You know, if you try to reprimand someone and they're like, oh, whatever, and you go, I'm really sorry, I'm the boss, listen. Yeah, I know. Because you've got a guy behind you. And you have an Angelo behind you. And what he's saying is that you actually, you know, like, to be tougher and harder doesn't mean you have to be mean. It just means you have to be direct, specific and succinct in what your message is. And they're saying you're not. And that wishy-washy flow means that there isn't a strong current of direction, and that's what's holding it back. So when you actually look at the management style, how you need to remarket, rebrand and strategise, you'll find that you can, I'm not going to say get it on track, it's actually there, it just needs to be refined. All right? And the reality is you're only looking at it for another 5 years and then you'll look at selling it. So I want to see it build really nicely, because then I see that being sold and I actually see you literally travelling and investing in a different business, more people working for you and less hands-on for you. It'll be a great investment. So I want to really see that build, because I see you being able to build it, move it and move on to better. So you need to get this nutted out. All right? Guys, come to the lady right next to you as well. I'm just going, no, I didn't want you to come to me. Okay, was there something that you wanted to ask?
I don't have a specific question, so I've got a lot going on in my head at the moment. So whatever you want to tell me, go for it.
Silly woman! Don't say that to me! Okay. What I feel around you is that, you asked, I feel you've got to clean up your act. And when I say clean up your act, I feel emotionally clean up your act, okay? Because what you're doing is that you're spacing and placing yourself everywhere. And you're actually not, like, you give yourself every excuse under the sun for not looking after yourself, all right? And I very specifically mean emotionally here. I don't feel like it's been the most comfortable 3 years, right? So I don't want to see the next 3 years be as uncomfortable. So what I want you to do is seriously start to have a look at your environment. When I say environment, I mean internal, external, friendships, associations of people that are blood-sucking, hanging off on you. Okay, there's a reason we collect people like that, and it's usually because it endorses something in us. I want you to look at what it is endorsing that you could do without. Do you understand? Too much energy and too vibrant to let everyone else just, you know, stick the bum in and take it. All right? Now comes the lady in front. Yep.
I've had a job opportunity come up with my sister, but it would mean putting off starting a family.
No. I'm so sorry. As soon as you start, I'm going, no. No, no, no. I get that something can look like an opportunity until the impact is too strong. And the thing is that, do I feel it would be a good opportunity from a financial planning perspective? Yes. Will it fit with the life structure that you want? No. One of the key reasons as well is that the two of you are not suited to work together either. So even though it's a great idea and it has really got great legs, my concern is that what starts easy ends more difficult. So I just feel like it's not the path that you're meant to be going on, and you have different opportunities that will open up later when you decide. And it's actually not until you look at having children that your life will actually alter, because what you do is you're quite creative, and it's going to kick in more so when you sit there going, I don't want to go back doing what I'm doing. Then you'll start to create online business and you'll stay within that genre and you'll work around your children. But I just feel that if you go into this, you get financially tied down, emotionally tied down, and it won't reap the benefits of what the assumption is that it will do. It just won't. And I feel like the friction won't be worth it. I mean, I know plenty of family that can work well together. I just don't feel the two of you will, because she's also a little bit more autocratic than you. You know, and so it'll be like, well, hang on, I was the one who asked you every time a dispute comes in. I asked you, I asked you, I asked you. Just don't go there. Okay? Let's come to the lady also over there, yeah? Yep, you.
I have two problematic daughters, and I've got the property that I've got to work. So I just wanted to know if there was any assistance in that, or that's the right direction, you know?
Any assistance from them?
Oh, no, well, minimum.
No, not likely at all. No. I've got to tell you, I actually feel ahead. The reason that I'm coming to you is because you have a father standing behind you, and he's saying to let you know that the concept of how you could make it work and the reality are two very different things. And he's saying it's actually time for you to consider, and he's showing me for sale signs. He's saying to me it's time for you to consider how you actually change your lifestyle, because he's saying it's time to make it easier on yourself. Okay, and sometimes to let go of something means to bring in something better. And he's literally saying that you can downsize the property into one that works for you. It's about timing, and the timing actually is now to start to think about it. Now, when you even consider looking at doing it, I'd like for you to be very, very tight around your legals here, because not only are the kids difficult, but they're also very financially grasping. So if you don't have it, you know, locked up and sorted out, they'll take whatever they can take. All right? I'll leave that with you. Yes.
About 18 months ago, I was defrauded of a lot of money. It's still, the fraud thing's still happening. The police haven't brought prosecution about it, but it will happen. I just wanted to know what's going to happen in relation to that fraud. I'm not the only one involved. And also I've got some problems with council at the moment in relation to my property.
I want to say to you, first of all, with the property with council, I feel that that would settle. All right, so I don't feel a concern about that long term. I feel like there are some amendments that need to be made. There's something around drainage as well that's going to be causing them a bit of grief. It's like they'll nitpick around certain things, but this will come back up as well. But I actually feel like that's not really something to worry about long term. It's an irritant, but it certainly won't hold up where you're going long term. What I want to say to you around the policing is immediately I keep getting that what your expectations are in the sense of how severe the leveraging against these people will be is not actually what's going to be presenting. So I feel that what they say they want to do and what they're investigating, and then what can actually be achieved is going to be different. So I want to say to you, just be prepared that I don't feel that they will end up being prosecuted as far as they should have been, or for as much as they could have been. But I feel it's more about a mediation in the legal system of how much do we put into this. So I'm just raising it with you because I feel that there'll be some disappointment around this. But what I feel is that it's nowhere near going to go out as far as what you guys are hoping, but there's still a result that actually shuts these people down and takes them out into a very strong public awareness park. All right, so I don't, because I feel with you it's also about I don't want other people to have this happen.
Yeah.
You know, and I just want to say to you that it won't, because I feel like it's as though they get hung out to dry in public, not necessarily through the judicial system. All right? But you'll be fine with the property. It'll work really well. You won't have a problem long term. I love your colours. I was just saying that to my partner before. Come to the lady up back here, please.
Oh, hi.
Good
My
evening.
daughter's going through a bit of a legal battle, and I'm just wondering, it keeps getting drawn out, and it's going on, and I'm just wondering if it's going to come to some sort of closure soon, and if it's going to be to her benefit at all.
Okay, as soon as you see that, I see the magistrate court sign above you. And what it's saying to me is it's as though they've made a decision to move it out of one arena. That makes sense to you, and then into another. So it's like it's come out of family and then it's gone into magistrate court. Okay. What my guide is saying to me is that... Oh, I'm just going to say it. She's saying to me that it's as though your daughter has painted a particular picture and she's not all that innocent within all of it. All right? And I kind of feel like, to answer you, yes, it's going to be getting sorted out fairly soon, in that I feel it will be wrapped up by the end of the year, wrapped and finished. But I also want to say to you, be prepared to hear a bit of ugly stuff that goes along with it. Because I just feel that what she's presented or what she's saying can actually be proven otherwise when it goes the full extent of where it's going to be going. What I feel is like she's trying to prevent that from occurring. And I'm not saying she's done anything horrendous, don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying is that there's a certain amount of angst within her because, you know, what you do at one point you may never have done at another point in your life. And what she's saying, as in my guide, Elizabeth is saying, is that she just needs to be able to know, okay, that no matter what is brought up and how everything is brought up, that she just needs to front everything down, stay consistent, be consistent, and the result will come at the end of the year. But I feel like she arcs up, like she's under such volatile stress that she can really arc up. And the problem is that the arcing up is what has served the other area and people really, really well historically. So I want her to just almost be quiet in the knowledge that she's going to get the outcome that's going to suit her. She's not going to like it, which is why I'm using the phrase suit her, but it will work better for her. Okay? Is there custody around this?
She has the child.
Okay.
He's 16, so...
All right. The reason I'm asking you is because I feel as though there's going to be some discussion as well involved in this around... It feels like her character. You know, like someone is attacking her character and they're actually going to literally say, look, how's he been brought up? What's gone on? How's it all happened? So I feel like I want her to be prepared that there's one more kind of attack that's going to be coming in her direction. All right? The thing is, though, if she stays really calm and quiet, they've got nowhere to go with this. They really don't. But the problem is that she hasn't shut up historically and she has responded historically. So it feels as though the other people think they've got her pegged, they know how they're going to work this. So they're going to throw one more bomb. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and,
keep doing that,
yeah, and I feel like if she's just sits back, stays calm in the knowledge it'll blow over and literally stays really calm, it'll just start to move where it needs to be moving. All right, but somehow they're going to try to pull him into it. I really don't like that feel. They're going to try to use something around him. All right? Character assassination is the words I keep getting. And she's just got to be quiet and she can work her way through.
Yeah, she's really anxious and not coping with the whole thing.
Because it's constant. It's constant.
That's why I was wondering if it's when there's going to be closure, good or bad, just closure. So
I'm just getting she goes into Christmas and it's done. All right, that constantness is finished. But there's just one more that they're going to throw. All right. Come to the lady at the front, please.
I've got a daughter in a very dark space at the moment. Is there anything I can do to help, or is she going to come out of this herself?
I will come back to you because I was pointing to you, but no, you're fine, you're fine. She will, but it's also about getting the right, I feel, assistance and therapy, okay? Because when you say bad space, I say to you debilitating depression, all right? And again, when I use the term mental health, I feel it's associated with depression. All right, and that's actually the core, the backbone of what's going on. You know, it triggers the other areas, but I'm feeling like that's, you know, that's the thing. I feel that she will actually be able to get out of this, and I feel quite competently within the next 18 months. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a hard slog the entire 18 months, but what I feel is that they've got to stop addressing just the verbal of what's going on with her, okay, and they actually need to start to look at some of the chemical movements within her brainwaves. I actually would not at all be surprised if she wasn't diagnosed with something more along the lines of bipolar. There is a complete chemical instability, do you understand? And I can actually taste the metallic taste in my mouth, which says to me that optics don't move really well, which means she's sluggish, she's slow, she's harder to respond because the neurology all around the brainstem isn't ticking the way it needs to be. So I feel that there is a chemical composition that's not balanced here, okay? The other thing is as well, you'll find if she hasn't already said it, she's going to start to talk about a pain around the left side within that stomach area, do you understand? Almost like around that hip. All right, she needs to be looking at the left fallopian tube because I feel like there's something playing up there as well. But the thing is that because there's multiple things going on, you know, they're going, look, it's your imagination, it's this, it's that. It's not. It's thick, it's gluggy, it's black, it's not dangerous, it's there, but it feels more like endometriosis, something like that. But it's definitely in the, you know, deep within that groin. All right? But I'm raising it because she's actually very uncomfortable, like painfully uncomfortable and not being heard. All right? As for the rest, I feel that they will literally be able to go, she's going to end up going back through, they're saying to me, another diagnostic realm, and that new diagnostic realm will give her a new specialist, will give her a new concept, will give new tests, will find what needs to move here, and then they will help her accordingly. And when you actually imagine sitting here, and imagine in 3 years, you won't recognise the person you've got in front of you, daughter-wise. She'll be completely different. All right? Make sure you look after yourself in the process, hey mum. No, because you're not. Oh, I don't say this lightly, you're actually not. So what's happening is that it's all falling onto you. And what I would like for you to start to do is you need, and I get it, I'm a mum of 2 boys, but I feel like you need to be stepping back a little bit here and instead of being so in it, direct the flow of the traffic. Do you understand? Not be in it. And you keep getting told by Spirit to do this because you're getting dizzy, you're getting tired, you've no appetite, you're completely exhausted, right? So it's time for you to replenish yourself or you're not of any use to anyone, especially not yourself. Okay? You should go to this lady for healing. Sorry, can I come back? What was your question?
I'm thinking that I'm a very strong woman, but last time I lose myself. I cannot have decision about important things. I don't know what happened to me. What do you see?
Yeah, when you say I can't make decisions, I feel like you're choosing not to because you're tired of the fight. All right? And when I look at you externally, I think you're immaculate. You know, I was looking at you from over there because I thought you're just beautifully immaculate to me. But I feel like underneath you're rushing and you're running. You know, like your heart is racing. Up here's always feeling like it's stuck, like you're uncomfortable, and your brain is just all the time. And what I feel it is that you need to be looking at the concept of running out of time. And the reason that I say this is because you have a lady who is giving me the name of Isobel, and she's giving it to me in French. She's your guide, she's your 4th level, she's right behind you. And she's saying to me that you keep looking at your life and thinking, where am I going with time? Okay, because she's literally showing me a hand of a clock and she's verbally saying to me that you keep feeling on a really core, deep level, am I running out of time to do what I want to be doing? You know, I need more time, I want more energy, I need to be doing more. And she's saying, what you actually need to be doing, ironically, is slow down and start prioritising what's going on around you, all right? You do a lot for a lot of people and you do a very little amount for you. And she's saying you need to turn that upside down now. And the more time you give to yourself, calmly and quietly, and not even in the sense of just physically, because I feel when I say it, it's like, oh, but I don't want to be on my own. You know, it's not about being on your own, it's actually about give yourself the time and the space now to start to look at where you want to be going. All right? What I love about the feeling with you is that you have such a wonderfully continental brain. You know, you have a very sophisticated education, don't you? It's just beautiful, it's classic, it's right there. And they're saying that it's time for you to continue to invest in educating yourself, to invest in more reading, and also to start to invest in giving that out to people. You are a natural philosopher. You have an incredible amount of knowledge in you, you have an incredible amount of scope, and you lack the confidence to give it out. So I feel it's actually about you. You know, you put pen to paper, you've got your thoughts on it all the time. But it's about how do you turn that into a philosophy and then put that out there. You need to give yourself some time and space to think it through so you can do it really effectively. And there's a discussion around overseas travel with you, okay, for this year. I feel like it will be coming up, and I'd like to say to you, just put it off, because I feel as though you're thinking, you know, I'll either do it late this year or it might be a bit cold, I might look at doing it more towards spring next year. I just feel like I want you to stay physically where you are so that you can make a very strong decision about downloading this information to create it into the philosophies that you can use, because you're very good at distraction. So if you make that decision to go off and travel and do things, you won't compile this philosophy for a little while longer, and I'd like to see it sooner rather than later because you're going to do it. So you might as well not do it in 3 years, but start next spring. All right? Brilliant brain. I really want to see it on paper, like brilliant, exceptionally, classically brilliant brain, and it just needs to be on paper. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Can I come to the gentleman? Yep.
Hey, I've lost my faith. I asked for the lotto numbers and I didn't get them. That's a joke. Hey, now for the last 18 months, I've been given the imprint of large sums of money. Yeah, and the question is it self-worth, or is it to actually, well, I've challenged it by asking for the wisdom and the knowledge and understanding to actually use the energy of that large sum of money. That's my question. And he wants to know if his future wife's here in Williams.
You so did want to know that, did you?
Did you come together?
Don't turn around. Don't turn around. I actually feel that what the money is about is literally more symbolic. But the thing is, for me, what it's about